So I'll just quickly introduce someone else who moves me to no end. She is the CEO of YBCA, and she's made this place more than hospitable. She's made it home for a couple of striving intellects to take this planet forward. Please welcome Ms. Deborah Cullinan to the stage.
Oh my God. Hi. 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 I love it when people say hi back. Can you imagine what it's like to be up on the stage after that? So I am here to tell you about YBCA. And I want to start I'm actually on script, which is very unusual for me, but I want to start off script by making it abundantly clear what we're trying to do here. And it is true that we are trying to shape the most poetic and important and nuanced and disturbing questions that we possibly can, not only in order to shape the way this organization applies its resources and how it thinks about its curatorial program, but really to change the world. We think that art centers can be part of that. And so that's what I'm here to tell you about. So we are, and a lot of this is gonna just kind of resonate with what you've heard earlier today. We are living in extraordinary times. We are experiencing this unprecedented change, and there really is nothing like art and creativity to bring people together in order to pursue a more equitable and hopeful future. It's just simple, you guys. Without creativity and art and inspiration, we cannot do the work that needs to get done. I just heard somebody say yesterday that the 21st century will be about the radical reinvention of institutions. And I took this to mean systems change. I took it to mean all kinds of institutions of governance, institutions of service, of pedagogy, of education, on and on. I believe that among the most essential, if not the most essential reinvention of institutions will be the reinvention of our institutions of art and culture and creativity. Yeah? I've been at a couple of conferences this week, and that causes some people to say, why? I'm gonna say it back to some people that I think already know, but it's simple. Because what is fundamental to any systems shift is a shift in human imagination. It's an opening. And what is absolutely essential to realizing basic human life is access to expression and access to inspiration. So we are here to invite you to join us in this work. At YBCA, we believe that the best and most lasting organizations of the 21st century will give rise to cultural movement. They'll be leaders and connectors in their communities. They will be beacons for equitable change. Big things will happen because of them. In fact, and my colleague Jeff Chang is here, he's going to hear a little bit of his effect on me in this institution. We believe that it is culture, the stories, the traditions, and the values that enable us to act with imagination and creativity, to act politically and with conviction. Indeed, culture instigates change. The great societal strides, those that have resulted in forward movement, have inevitably been sparked by cultural shift, that momentous collective motion that hits a mark and it can no longer be denied. Think of our joy this summer celebrating marriage equality. Think of the people who risked themselves to build a cultural movement that gained that kind of transformational momentum like a tidal wave. There was no turning back. We achieved change. Our mission, thank you. I'll take it all day long, you know, it's helpful. Our mission is to generate culture that moves people. We also propose that too few people are defining culture, too few have access to it, and so too few have agency to influence what happens in their own lives and in their own communities. We are here to change that. Our vision is a community that thrives on inspiration. To be inspired is to see the future. To see the future is to see your own place and your community beyond where it is today. Inspiration cannot be a luxury for the few who have the time and lack the anxiety because they don't have to think about things that other people have to think about. To thrive as a society, we have to insist on inspiration for everyone. Imagine people inspired everywhere, literally all over the world, working together to make a better future. Bamuti always tells me we can't make a revolution if we don't dance. And right? So, yeah, go ahead. So like people gathered together to dance, experience, I think, is most profound when it connects us mind, body, and soul to ourselves and to one another. Researchers have long illustrated the benefits of social capital. By that I mean the ties that bind trust, connection, and participation. As one example, we know that the single greatest reason that the health of elders in this country declines rapidly, that they give up on living, is social isolation. This is about a lack of connection, a feeling of being forgotten and excluded. We have ample evidence that our communities are better connected, more empowered, and less violent when they are infused with creativity, self-expression, and citizen participation. Our greatest public spaces and our greatest institutions create these experiences and enable people of all kinds to be inspired. And we've talked about it, we are experiencing unprecedented change. Arguably, our own city of San Francisco is changing more rapidly than any other American city in history. Our population is increasing, prices are escalating, all kinds of diversity, cultural, ethnic, and income are declining rapidly. We are a city marked by upheaval and uncertainty, which creates an environment of division and polarity. I would argue that our public debate lacks creativity. It excludes, it intimidates, blames everyday citizens. We default to the accusatory and the one-dimensional. To be polarized is to be either helpless or hopeless, to be powerless. Rather than asking the nuanced, deep, and probing questions, the ones that you are helping to shape today that will result in breakthrough solutions, we are retreating to the simple, the binary, and the intractable. We stay stuck. But we can push through this stuck place and to break through solutions, but we must put art and creativity at the center of the conversation. We need more and different kinds of people gathering around those deep poetic questions, the ones that give birth to new metaphors and new possibilities. Think of the artists, culture makers, and the innovators who believed that something seemingly impossible could be. Think of those moments when someone shifts the inquiry and a new future opens up. That's what we want to be at YBCA, the creative home for civic action. We invite you to join us in imagining a future where art centers of all kinds everywhere are citizen institutions and think of themselves as an integral part of the public realm. At YBCA, and young Jean Lee talked about this a little bit earlier, we have this thing we call the creative ecosystem, which links our community and our programs to larger human and civic concerns. We invite many of you, activated citizens, artists, futurists, entrepreneurs, planners, designers, environmentalists, on, to join together in our community think tanks, to do something larger than any one of them can do on their own. This ecosystem thrives on diversity of thought and life experience. We believe in a culture of invitation. We invite you to participate, and subsequently, we ask you to invite others. We multiply. These think tanks made up of hundreds of people right now, are pursuing urgent questions that our YBCA 100 list makers are pursuing, and that we as a community are pushing forward. They're gathering right now around questions of labor, ecology, economy, and place. One of the big questions that we're asking is, what is the future of urban life and who gets to shape it? The Market Street Prototyping Festival, an unprecedented partnership with the San Francisco Planning Department, the people of San Francisco, and YBCA, is about reimagining Market Street, our grand thoroughfare, but it also is, maybe more importantly, about reimagining citizen participation in how our streets and cities change. Together, YBCA and the San Francisco Planning Department seek to shift the culture of city making. No more top-down planning. Rather, let's ask the questions of our creative citizens. How can we design public spaces to instigate connection and community? How can our streets and sidewalks begin to function like a civic commons? To Favi's point, what will bring you joy, inspiration, and a sense of what is possible? And how can our streets and public spaces be created and stewarded equitably no matter the neighborhood? As Ben Jealous says, there is genius in every zip code. And I would add that there is future-making inspiration waiting to be untrapped and unleashed. So this project, Market Street Prototyping Festival, is in anticipation of a once-in-a-lifetime planned redesign that the city's undertaking. We're talking of something like a $400 million project. This street may be one of the grander, but also more challenged of its kind in the world. We're looking at the 2-mile stretch from the waterfront to the Civic Center, and we asked the world, what's your best idea? What do you think should happen in public space? We got 250 ideas. We juried, we picked 50 of them, we incubated them, we paired them with design firms, and then we put those projects down on the street over 3 days in April. 1 million people participated. 1 million people. Yeah! And they told us what they thought. They told us what they liked and what they didn't like. They told us what worked and what didn't. And as a point of reference, just for fun, a typical planning process for the city would include a community engagement component, a bit of a nod, maybe 2-3 planning meetings, and what I hear is at most 500 people. And I know for sure, though I'm not allowed to quote it, that it costs a whole lot more than what it costs for us to do what I just told you about. This project, Bench Go Around, encouraged collaboration. And because of this work, many of these projects will be part of the permanent redesign. They will be. And we are now looking at how to adapt this work to other neighborhoods and other cities. Peak experience, whoops, was I off? Well, you're with me, you're with me. Peak experience reminded us that thousands of kids live and travel along these streets without places to play, and often they are invisible to us. What if we made our streets playgrounds, especially in neighborhoods where there is little or no green space? The People's Table. This was a guerrilla project made by the people of Central Market and placed unauthorized on the street during the festival. We liked it so much that it's out on Market Street today again, Central Market, and just saw a couple days ago a police officer playing with a guy who is thought to be a drug dealer in the neighborhood. I believe that the great places of today emphasize not our differences, but our shared and future possible culture. They emphasize our interconnectedness and our interdependence, which allow us to feel not hopeless, accused, or disconnected, but helpful, hopeful, and together. I share this thing, a testament that joy in public space is not only possible, but essential. This was just a random bit of video that was picked up during the festival. I play that quite often. It's very, very, very helpful. So imagine this 21st century with me. Like a new kind of transit system, arts organizations of all kinds will function to cultivate mobility and movement. They will infuse our streets, our sidewalks, and our communities with compassion, connection, and inspiration. They will make it possible for all kinds of people to collide and come to know one another. Empathy will become the norm. Collaboration, the essential tool. We, the people, will be brazen about the power of art and creativity to change everything. We will at last comprehend and put to action the real potential of our own strength as creative souls. Thank you.